Warning, the stories you're about to hear are detailed accounts of shenanigans, pranks, and some mistakes that are meant to replicate the sort of discussions that veterans have when they reunite over a cold beverage and do not depict the professional daily actions of the military at large. We hope to make you laugh, but not to disrespect our proud men and women in uniform. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to Cammo Comedy, where we take a humorous look at the lighter side of military service. We got a big show for you today, but before we jump into it, if you like what we're doing here, give us a subscribe, give us a follow, whatever they call it on your podcasting platform. And while you're at it, give us a 5-star rating, write us a review, as that makes us more relevant in the algorithm and boosts the overall visibility of the show. But word-of-mouth advertising is just so powerful, so if you tell some friends, I will love you forever. Okay, let's jump into the show. I am your host, Aaron Wolf. Joining me in studio today is the great, the powerful call sign Dome Piece. Dome Piece, thanks for being here, man.
Oh, man, it's awesome being here.
Oh, yeah, man. We're happy to have you in here. So, dude, check out my first story. All right, this takes place. Let me set the table for this one because it's the details here are important to know. So, first and foremost, it's important to understand what an FTX is. For those of you who might not know, it is short and military lingo for field training exercise, right?
Yeah.
And this particular story takes place in November timeframe, and it's in like the eastern part of the United States. So we're talking about like 37 degrees Fahrenheit, 2.77 degrees Celsius for those of you who are in the realm of Celsius.
It's a little brisk.
Oh, yeah, to say the least. It is cold out, right? Now they're doing like squad movements and they're doing like bivouac. So that means they're staying overnight outside. And they're doing all kinds of different troop movements, react to fire, drills, all kinds of things like that, using night vision goggles, things of this nature, right?
Yeah, just training, trying to keep up on keep fresh.
Exactly. So they're doing a reactive fire drill. They get an ambush from the front. And one of the other things I forgot to mention is here, let's distinguish like a couple of different basic squad movements. So you got like a column formation, which is your back to somebody's chest. And then you have a line formation, which is shoulder to shoulder. Now, interval is not going to be right on top of each other. When you're doing squad formations and things, people are spread out at different intervals, and it depends on the terrain, depends on things like that, right? So they're doing a reactive fire drill to an ambush.
Contact.
Yeah. And so what they're doing is they're sweeping through an area. They're in a line formation, shoulder to shoulder at a spaced out interval. As they're sweeping through, they come to a water hazard. So the squad leader, it gives the command, halt. Then they hear splash, right? Now it was nighttime, so they didn't know exactly what. It was nighttime, so they didn't know exactly what the splash was. So they're rallying up after the scenario's ended, and they're kind of doing their after actions and things of this nature. They see this guy. He's coming over to him, all animated. He's like, how come everyone stopped? I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear anybody say halt. This guy is wet head to toe, and he's all pissed off, right? He was the splash that we talked about just a second ago.
Yes.
And I'd like to say that this was a rookie mistake, that this is a guy who had, been in for like maybe 6 months to, a year, something like that. He was an older guy. Like he was in his middle to late 30s. He had been in for over 10 years. He was an E5, E6 level.
An NCO.
Yes. So he was a troop leading NCO. Now he was not in charge of this scenario, right? But he was all pissed. He's like, I didn't hear anybody give the command to halt.
Yeah.
And so they're saying, well, okay, if that's true, there's still a water hazard and it's freezing out. And we're just in training here. Like, why do you think you're diving in?
Stop.
Right. And this guy got dunked, right? Like this was not just a shallow creek where it's just like a puddle or something like that. Like he went deep in, head to toe. He was wet. The kicker is this older guy didn't bring a backup set of uniforms or change of clothes, right?
No way.
So he was just like, so they were kind of, laughing at him a little bit and just being like, they were figuring everything out, right? He's just like, hey, man, I'm going to have to run back to the hooch because I didn't pack a separate set of uniforms or change of clothes or anything. Like anybody in the audience that doesn't know, like this is like sacrilegious, like, right? Like
For sure.
anytime you go in the field, you're always bringing extra clothes, change of socks, change of undies. Like, you just never know what's going to happen, and you want to be covered, right? So this guy, not only was he not the best example, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, how embarrassing. You fall in the creek in front of your troops, but you also have to reveal you didn't pack extra uniforms.
Bad example. I think, so a lot of times NCOs can be a good example by showing a bad example, right? Like, this is the guy they can point to, be like, listen, don't be like this guy. He's got to run all the way back to the hooch. He's got to get all the change. And he came back. And he was late at night too. He
credit
went back
to him
to the
for
hooch,
that.
and he came back, right? And he was made fun of a little bit, but
I'm sure they clowned him
that's
pretty
just
hard.
Business. Yeah. Oh, for sure. That's you fall in the water, something like that. You're definitely going to hear about it.
Oh, for sure. So I got a great Marine story.
All right.
This is probably one of the most Marine stories you're going to hear.
Okay.
Right?
I love Marine stories.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have enough. I think this might be the first one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, this one's good.
Okay. I can't wait.
So they're getting ready to go into Fallujah, right? This is during Iraq. Surge, they're before the big battle of Fallujah, everybody's heard about, right?
Okay.
They're getting ready to do the initial push in. They know it's going to be hard fighting, so they know a lot of these guys may not make it back. So they do an extra effort to get them a mail call, right? Okay. So they get their mail call in, getting their lickies and chewies, anything that's came to them. They got everything they could.
Lickies and chewies.
Yeah, right? So this Marine... This Marine he was a turret gunner getting ready to go in. So he's a young Marine, but he's a monster of a guy, built like stacked, right? So, like the kind of guy who barely fits in the turret. Yeah.
Okay.
He's huge.
It sounds like a Marine.
Yeah, right? And he's a big guy, but they had just gotten up-armored Humvees. So for those who don't know what an up-armored Humvee is, before then they had what they called soft skins, didn't have a lot of armor, pretty thin metal on the outside.
Right.
In the turret, you had an angled piece of skid plate in front of so when you had your machine gun up there, it kind of sat in between and had this little skid plate. So if rounds came in, it'd skip up and miss you. And then in the back, when the hatch opened, it gave you a little protection from behind. But there was nothing around the sides of this turret, right?
Gotcha.
So the up-armoreds, they put a lot of extra armor on the bodies, and then they created like a short wall that surrounded the turret to give you a little extra protection, so in case something came in from the side, it would hit this armor.
Gotcha.
Right?
So it's front, back, and sides.
And sides,
okay.
Right? But this was all new to these guys. They had been driving around Iraq with the thin skins and no walls on the sides.
All right.
And so, they're getting ready to push out. Well, this guy's truck commander, he got a pack of Oreos. And this is going to come into play later. So he gets this pack of Oreos, right? And inside the truck, you have the passenger seat and the driver's seat.
All right.
And in between there's like an elevated metal plate that you would stick what's called a 113 on, and you can put a handheld radio inside of this.
Is that what you mean by one?
Yeah, the 113 is like a docking station for a portable handheld radio.
Gotcha.
And then it will run through the...
So this is kind of like a center console.
Yeah, it's like a raised center console.
Okay, so if you're in like a regular truck, you got the driver, you got the passenger, and then you got center console where all this gear goes.
Yeah,
gotcha.
So he sets these Oreos up on there. So he's just like, the truck commander's in the passenger seat, and he's just like, you can pluck an Oreo out and eat them. Like, he hadn't had anything good like that for quite a while, right?
Right.
And so... they start their push into Fallujah. As they're in Fallujah, they, of course, start taking rounds because it's pretty dicey in there, right? So they're taking rounds, and the truck commander starts calling out, like, directions of fire and distances. So, like, 3 o'clock, 200 meters, and he yells to this gunner, I want you to hit him with the AT-4. Okay. So an AT-4 is an anti-tank weapon, right?
Okay.
It's kind of like, it shoots an ordnance, but kind of like a rocket launcher. When you launch one of those, there's a significant blast that comes out the back that's propellant.
If
right?
I may, real quick, like any of you in the audience that haven't seen this, go give that a search. Watch a video. It takes 2 seconds. This thing goes off like a bomb. Like, it is a loud blast, big. It's serious.
Yes, it's a pretty heavy blast behind. You don't want to be behind this thing, right?
No.
So he's getting his instructions from his truck commander, who's sitting down in the passenger seat. This guy was a big dude. He had kind of this deep voice. He was hilarious, and he's kind of chuckling. He's like, he's like, like I didn't want to get up too high because like there's bullets skipping off the truck and stuff, right? So he's like, but
he's a big dude, man, a big target.
Yeah,
right?
big target.
I don't blame him.
He said, and I forgot there was all this new armor around the outside of the turret. So you can kind of see where this is going, right? So he just kind of tries to like sneak up a little bit, kind of like prairie dogging out of there, He doesn't want to stand all the way up. And when he hits the launch on that thing, that backblast hits the armor that surrounds the turret and redirects it right down into the truck, right?
Oh, shit.
And he said, all I felt was a lot of heat on my legs. No. So he says, I look down and my pants and underwear are gone. He's like, I don't...
Oh shit!
He said, "In my like the hair's burned off my legs. They're red." He's like,
no.
"I wasn't burned bad, but like
okay, good."
He said, "But all I could see. So when you blouse your boots, you like tuck them up. You know, some people tuck them into their boots, but some have these straps that blouse them around your boots." He said that was all that was left in my pants, and they were smoldering around my boots. Right.
So for those of you that might not know, it's just like rings of material from his pants that are just smoldering around the top of his boots, where they got his underwear and pants got completely blown off his body. That's amazing.
Yeah. And he said, and all of a sudden I can start to hear again. And like, he's like, I was trying to digest all of this that was going on. And then my hearing starts coming, like I'm starting to hear.
Yeah.
And he said, in the radio, all I can hear is my truck commander going ballistic about me disintegrating his Oreos in the truck.
No, because it's not like you can just run to 7-Eleven and pick up a fresh set, a fresh sleeve of Oreos, right?
Absolutely not.
Not in Fallujah. I don't know that they necessarily have that kind of snacky cakes right there, right?
And you know, this is why I say it's the most Marine thing, because only in Marines would they have an AT-4 blast inside of their truck, and he's mad about his Oreos.
He's mad that he lost his Oreos. I kind of don't blame him.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
I mean, you realize everybody's okay, but like, there's no replacing those, and that was your little treat while you're in combat.
Forget the blast. Like, he's used to that. He's mad his Oreos are gone, right? And so
that's amazing.
So I asked this guy, I was like, so what'd you do the next few days? He's like, I mean, I drove around Fallujah in a gun turret with no pants. So for like a couple of days, he's driving around Fallujah fighting the bad guys, right?
Bottomless.
Bottomless. He's got his normal uniform on from the waist up, including vest, helmet, everything, but he just has no pants on and then his boots.
That might be the most Marine story I've ever heard in my life. If you're fighting in Fallujah, you said 3 days?
Yeah, I don't know, several days.
Several days.
He said it took him several days to
that is the most Marine shit I've ever heard in my life. Hats off to this guy. I love him already.
It was great.
Oh, man. Man, there's no segue for this next one. That was a great story, by the way, man. Thanks for sharing. So I'm just going to dive into this. Like, you never know what you're going to get when you check on your younger folks, right? Like when you're a senior leader, whether you're enlisted officer, when you're checking on your younger folks, you never quite know what rabbit is going to be pulled out of that hat, right? It could just be normal stuff. There's a lot of doozies, though. This cat, senior enlisted guy, is checking on his younger troops, and there's a guy that's, a little bit younger. He's recently married within the last couple of years. And he's kind of opened it up to his leaders saying, hey, man, my wife's just really down on herself and everything. She has poor body image and she's really self-conscious about her boobs. Right now, this this older guy, he's a happily married guy. He's got several kids and, he's got a little bit of wisdom about marriage. He's been married for 10, 15 plus years, something like that. So, he's just kind of giving him whatever wisdom he has. It's just like, listen, if you're the husband, then it's your job to make sure that she feels good about herself. Dr. Phil in it, right?
Oh, yeah.
So little does he realize he's giving these pearls of wisdom right out to his younger guy. This lower enlisted guy is flipping through his phone and he's like, I don't know. Do you think they look weird? And then he flashes his phone right in this older guy's face, showing a naked picture of his wife and her tits.
Like we said, you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah. And so right about that time, when it hits the more senior guy, he just kind of shuts his eyes. He puts his head up, kind of puts his hands out. He's like, okay, why don't you go ahead and put that guy away, meaning his phone? And he's like, now we got to have a whole other discussion, right? He's like, first and foremost, how many people are you going around showing these pictures to? And he's like, oh, everybody. I'm showing it all over base. He needed to get opinions from other people, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now, it's important to note, all of these actions are done with the best of intentions. This guy happened to be more of a simpleton, from what I understand. Like, he is not a dirtbag per se. He's just not the brightest guy. So he was legitimately concerned about his wife. And then he's going around showing naked pictures of his wife to other people around base, asking their opinions. Do you think her breasts look weird? Her breastises, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, let's address that. Don't do that. Okay. Like, that is very disrespectful to your wife.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
military bases are not where you want to go flashing naked pictures of your wife or anybody around to, right? That's disrespectful. Stop doing that.
Especially around a bunch of combat guys.
Especially to your boss.
Yeah, fact.
like that's also inappropriate. So I gotta call out that, right? So anyway, it turned out to be a very good interaction because he was able to kind of break some of these things down. And the younger guy, who's a little bit more of a simpleton, got a more wise perspective of life, marriage, respect, things of that nature. So you just never know. Like this guy,
just the day in the life of a supervisor in the military.
Exactly. You could just say so. You don't have to flash naked pictures of your wife's boobs to your boss and think that this is appropriate. So he got dialed in.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to say that this ended on a positive note.
Yeah, for sure.
It warrants a whole other discussion. You know what I mean?
Just one of those awkward moments out on post.
Absolutely, man.
In the world of awkward moments with a military wife.
Oh, God. Okay.
So this young troop, right? He's a young NCO. He goes and deploys, right? Now, when you're deployed, a lot of times they'll give you, depending on your location, you get a smallpox vaccine.
Okay.
Right now, the smallpox vaccine, for those who haven't had it, they usually give it in your arm, one of your arms, right? And they jab you with a needle, and it forms a blister.
All right.
Now that blister will a lot of times kind of leak a little bit.
Sounds gnarly.
It's not really nice. It's not pleasant.
Right.
But they give it to you in theater when you're all together and everybody has the same thing all at once, so it doesn't really spread.
Right.
And
keep it from spreading around.
They also keep you away from home because they don't really want that given out stateside, and you're not allowed to have it around small kids. And a lot of military guys have young kids, right?
Makes sense.
They do it over there. Now, there's some people who diligently keep this area clean, like they'll clean around that infected area, and then there's some people who don't clean. They'll just kind of let it go.
Whatever, man.
I'm out here. I'm in the middle of nowhere. I'm tough, whatever.
Right.
And they'll just let it kind of leak wherever. Well, this guy was being really diligent about keeping it clean. What he didn't know is the military serum that they use for this vaccine can also spread internally in your blood no matter how well you keep it clean.
Oh, shit.
However, the civilian version is only through touch does it spread.
Oh, shit.
Right? So he gets sent home on emergency leave.
Okay.
When he gets home, he's home for, he has like 2 weeks that he's supposed to be there.
All right.
He's home for a few days, and he realizes a new blister is forming on his sack, right?
Oh, no. This does not
So now he's
sound...
like,
Try convincing your wife that this is just smallpox.
right? You've been gone for 3 months.
Right.
And now you've got a blister on your sack when you come
honey,
home.
I got something to tell you,
Right.
but don't get mad.
So when I said awkward military spouse stuff, here it is.
No.
Right? So he has to breeze into the bedroom. Now he has little kids too, so he's got to get it looked at.
Right.
Right. So he breezes into their bedroom and he tells his wife, he says, "Hey, I need you to listen. I need you to hear me all the way through. Like, don't get mad." And she's like, "Okay." And he pulls his pants down. He's like, "I got a blister on my sack." And she's like, "Okay." Right?
There's no way.
And he's like, it's not what you think.
It's not what it looks like.
Like it's not herpes, right? I'm almost positive my smallpox vaccine is spreading and I have to go to the doctor.
Oh, no.
You can come with me if you want, but I have to go to the doctor. She's like, "Oh, I'm coming with you."
Oh, yeah.
Right? And she wants
We're going to be sure you're not full of shit right now.
Right? And so he schedules it with his doctor, and man, they're like, "Hey, you be here 11 o'clock tomorrow, back door," right?
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, "Back door? I've never had to go in the back door." He's kind of not really thinking about it because he just was with a bunch of guys that had
military grade smallpox here.
He shows up and it's like, it's like he's a leper, right? Like they're like, they got somebody waiting at the door. They're open. They're like right in the room. And the doctor comes whipping in and his wife's standing there and he's like, "Pull your pants down." The guy pulls his pants down. The doctor lifts up his junk, takes a look, is like, "Yep, that's smallpox." And he couldn't be happier for the doctor to say that, even though it's spreading, right?
Right.
Because his wife's a little relieved that it's not herpes.
Yeah.
So, he's like, the doctor's like, "All right, man, you can go right back out the back door." He's like, "You don't need me to go to the front desk?" They're like,
"Don't need to pay?"
Nope, right out the door. He's like, "Well, what am I supposed to do with this?" He's like, "Try to avoid contact with people."
Yeah.
Oh, well, thanks for the advice, doc. Right?
Oh,
but
man.
He ended up being able to take care of it, and he got back to theater, and it didn't spread anymore. But imagine trying to tell your wife, "Hey, I've been gone 3 months, and here's a blister on my sack."
So was that husband and wife? Were they good with like after all this? Like,
yeah, they were good. They were
Okay.
good, and like the wife was okay.
Hats
with
off to that wife for you know, she did her due diligence, and it was like okay, but I've got a blister on my sack that needs to go on a t-shirt.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine telling that to my wife, like in her that
man,
the hat tip that lady, she handled it pretty well. Just like okay,
this is like beyond Seinfeld level of misunderstanding, right?
Yeah,
like
right?
This is like, hey, this looks really, really bad, but I swear, you know,
yeah, for sure, blister on my sack. I'd wear that t-shirt around.
Hell yeah. Thanks for checking out the Cammo Comedy Show Podcast. If you like what we're doing here and you want to participate in this community, there are many different ways that you can contribute. First and foremost, tell somebody about the show. Word of mouth advertising is very powerful, and we really appreciate you for helping us out. If you have any funny military stories of your own or know somebody who does, with their permission, of course, you can contribute those stories via email at stories@cammocomedy.com. That's stories, STORIES, at CAMMOCOMEDY.com. Or if you're not too good at the internet, drop us a voicemail at area code 531-222-6146. That's area code 531-222-6146. That's right, we're giving away our phone number. We want funny military stories from all eras. So if you're not from a generation that's heavily online, we don't want there to be a barrier for participation. We have a lot of big plans for this show and building this community to support veterans. We will announce here soon, so stay tuned. All right, I'm going to go have a nice spicy bowl of chili. Later.